Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome back once again to our live coverage here on the B stream of DreamHack Masters Dallas. I'm Vince, joined by Dust, and we have two new teams battling it out to the bitter end. Once again, the loser goes home, the winner lives to fight another day. It's Windigo versus Tyloo. And Dust, how are you doing now that we're approaching the finish line of this marathon?
Doing pretty good, man. We've had some really good games on this stream, to be fair, particularly Nip Tyloo, which was one of those teams that could be in this game. What was very, very interesting. Even Energy Furia, which was kind of lopsided, so had interesting rounds. Unfortunately, we had a bit of a hot steamer between Vitality and Lucid Dream, but hopefully we're back on track for a good game between these two squads.
I mean, we saw some good Counter-Strike between Vitality and Lucid Dream. The problem is it was all for Vitality. It was incredibly one-sided. But I think this is going to be a much closer game. I think on paper it looks closer. Windigo, it has to be mentioned though, have had a bit of a rough time of it lately. Plus, they also have a stand-in. Calyx is actually playing for blocker today, so that needs to be highlighted.
Yeah, which means they also have to communicate in English, which might be a little bit difficult. I know that Bubble and Victor had played on a multinational team in the past called the Rogue with a few Danish players, and they probably had to speak English there, so they might be all right. I talked to them at Tours a little bit. It seemed like their English was okay, but again, when you're trying to make really quick decisions and call out things rapidly, it can definitely make things difficult when you're having to speak in a secondary language. But on the other hand, I mean, this pickup of Calyx to come in, pretty good player. I mean, definitely at times has shown a lot of skill. He certainly had his issues as well. It's not been all fine and dandy for him, but he's definitely a pretty solid mercenary to have come in a stand-in situation.
Yeah, I feel like on sort of ex-Space Soldiers squad, it was all Zantares that shone the brightest, but Calyx kind of overshadowed. He's still a very good player in his own right, so I'm pretty sure this isn't live. We actually have a player on -1 accurate, so I'm not sure what's going on here. Are we actually live? Looks like we might be live. Oh, okay. It is live, but accurate's on -1, so I was a bit puzzled, but Tyloo going to be on the T side, Windigo on the CT side, and it's going to be Calyx, the man in question, that delivers the first fatal blow and breaks the deadlock of this best of 3. Roaring the first blood. Ship's going to go in second. The only thing saving accurate from that right frag is it came through the wooden panel. But now the terrorists are getting on top of the CTs, and they will overwhelm B. Poison is making a move through CT, but oh, Tyloo, they're going to throw a wrench in the works. They actually anticipated this. They're going back to A site.
Yeah, they've called it really well, and Summer can cut off the rotations inside the spawn. That's Victor already off the board, only Poison left. And so Tyloo seemed to be putting the bow on this pistol round. It is worth noting this is the map that Tyloo selected, and it's been a weakness of Windigo. Their lane record in Inferno is not that great. Meanwhile, Poison is doing a good bit of damage. There is a small glimmer of hope that he can pull this off. But with no kit, he just has to retreat. Save that armor.
I think it's where you're actually run out of bullets in his USP, so he's gone back for the Glock. There may be a kit drop on the site, but it doesn't matter. Maybe ifs and buts. Excurate's going to take him down anyway. Tyloo will get the first round. A team speak problem, apparently, so we're going to have a pause.
Indeed, we are. Again, with Windigo, it's worth noting that they actually really turned a lot of heads earlier this year because they won that WESG event and they qualified for this event over some really good teams like Big G2 and Avangar. Then at the EPL groups, they did go out in last place, but they were taking maps off of Navi and Fnatic, and they were playing really close games against elite-level teams. Unfortunately for them, their momentum kind of fizzled out at Tour, where they had another group stage exit. Of course, they lost to the eventual champions, Mousesports. So all in all, not too shabby. Definitely a team that has some talent. Ships and Poison in particular, have just shown a lot of strength. Poison definitely one of those upcoming AWP players in Europe. Could be like the next Cirque. Is kind of what people are thinking. And then, yeah, Calyx, again, coming in as a pretty skilled ringer. Could certainly help things out. It's also one of those things where Windigo's roles have usually been pretty flexible. Like, they don't really have hardcore set spots. So it's easier to gel someone into the team in the same situation whenever you have that flexibility. So it's definitely not an ideal situation, but I think they can, you know, make the most of it and actually have a good series here against Tyloo.
I mean, we were speaking about the communication problems that Windigo may be facing, but it's also important to mention that Tyloo are renowned for having comm issues, where Bentet's kind of doing this translating role between the players at times. So I don't know how much of an issue that's going to be for Windigo. I mean, typically these players have sure, they've had some outlying teams, but you go back to the days of G-Play and Mortal Kombat, the likes of Bubble and Victor, they have normally been surrounded with Bulgarian players, so be curious to see how they adapt. But yeah, as you say, I mean, if you look at pure fragging power and pure firepower, I think it's safe to say that Calyx is an upgrade on blocker. Would you agree with that?
I mean, yeah, I think for skill ceiling, it's probably pretty fair. It's hard to know because after Ships and Poison, everyone else kind of frags at a similar level on the Windigo side. Each of them can kind of have their moments. Victor, obviously, the most important because he does a lot of their entry fragging. So he's the one that maybe noticed the most outside of Ships and Poison. But yeah, it definitely could be if Calyx plays up to his peak. The problem is there's certainly been many times throughout Calyx's career in the offline environment where he hasn't lived up to the hype.
Yeah. I think it's definitely a fair statement. I think the same could be said for Zantares, but he's had a couple of big performances. Another Turkish player, of course.
Yeah, it's really hard, man, because Calyx is obviously very young. I think he's only about 20 years old. He definitely did have some big lands at times for Space Soldiers. I think the one that I remember most was it's like a DreamHack Open event. I think it was Austin, like back in 2018. His team actually won that event, and he had a monster event at that tournament. And he's done well at some other smaller tournaments. Even did decently enough at an E-League major back in the day. So it's just lately, as that Space Soldiers team kind of started falling apart and Zantares went to big and they lost the sponsorship and didn't really find another team. And his form definitely dipped in that chaotic environment. But this could be the chance to kind of revitalize himself, get onto a team that's pretty competitive internationally. I mean, they're not top 10 or anything like that, but I certainly think they're probably still within the top 20.
Yeah. I think in my mind, actually, strangely enough, albeit with, you know, again, Calyx in, for me, Windigo and Tyloo have always been a team that are of like a similar level in my head. I'm not even sure I'm basing that off, but they've always been around the same ballpark. Same sort of tier of teams, yeah. So
I guess like both upset level teams, like not really gonna make a deep run, but certainly could pull off a surprise victory here and there. So that's pretty fair.
On their given day, they could take down a bigger team and cause an upset, yeah. And they're quite an explosive, interesting lineup of players, especially Tyloo. You know, we discussed this when we casted them last earlier today. They are an interesting T side and aren't afraid to go for these audacious plays and gimmicky sort of plays. So it'll be cool to watch.
Windigo's kind of the same way. They're a very scrappy team, so we could see a lot of explosive, fast-paced rounds, that's for sure. The problem is again, when you come onto a map like Inferno, this is definitely a map that Windigo has often struggled with. It's probably, statistically, their worst map outside of Nuke, which they typically ban. So this is certainly a vulnerability that Tyloo might be able to expose here. Not that Tyloo's Inferno record is anything to be super excited about, but certainly they'll probably feel more comfortable on this map than Windigo. And you mix in the Saiyan situation, and that's going to help them even more. They also had a better first game today, if we're honest. Like, they had a really close call against NIP. Meanwhile, Windigo kind of got battered by FaZe in their opening game of the tournament.
Yeah, and that was an NIP with Peter as well, another stand-in. Obviously for Dennis, who couldn't make it due to visa issues, I believe it was.
Really love it, man. All these visa issues.
Yeah.
So trash, man.
Happens so often. I think it'd be fixed by now. But enough about all that stuff. We are live again. The team's problems have been fixed, and indeed the fill is now at an end. It is going to be Tyloo, though, playing aggressively up banana. Molotov planted down. The smoke's there to extinguish it. And both of Windigo's players, and of course they have Force Sport, important to mention that too, are up close and personal. Bubble and Ships there, making a bit of noise though, hopping up and down. If they peek, there's a small gap in the smoke, and Bentet, you better believe he's going to make the most of that chance. Bubble going to take the 5-7, very deadly at this range. It is dragging over Poison from A site, which leaves the A site itself more vulnerable now.
Good little pick there to help things along. Ships off the board. As you said, both sites will now be a little bit more easy to access as the rotations are going to be strained. Smoke in on CT spawn. Tyloo hasn't quite committed all the way just yet, though. They're still waiting things out, but creeping forward nonetheless.
Hoping that maybe one of these two players goes for another rotation, playing off the time. Poison with his deagle. Exploding out the smoke, does claim one, but now the bomb has been taken. Will be planted down by Excurate. Wanted to just wait to make sure that there's no more pesky CTs laying at the back of the site in Dark or Newbot. Now they realize that's not the case, and Windigo can only realistically save. They do have armor and pistols, so could give them a little bit to play with in the round 3, but in terms of round 2, it is all over. It's going to be Tyloo taking a 2-0. It's not looking very good for saving both these guns either. It's a MAC-10 plucked out for Calyx, but again, Tyloo are going to have the lead on Inferno.
Absolutely. As Calyx still trying to hold on to this MAC-10 and head armor, that would certainly allow them to pose at least a small threat next round, as they won't really have much else aside from that. Does catch Excurate. Could maybe try to step out and grab that AK-47. Make things even better. No, never mind. Attacker said, nah.
Rip.
None of that.
He did get a MAC-10 kill though, Dust. So that is a healthy amount of money that's just been injected into his bank balance.
Absolutely. That'll certainly help out in the opening gun round coming up, but right now it's just a deagle for Calyx. P250 for Bubble, and that's it. 1 HE grenade in the mix to nade down middle and try to get these pistols in the faces of Tyloo. Damage being dealt, but Attacker lining them up and knocking them down with Pin 10, holding out Bananas.
Mate, that nade was absolutely devastating. That must have done nearly 200 damage just by itself, but yeah, there wasn't enough bodies to really capitalize on it, it felt. It was just a nade, and they just sent a couple players down. It was just sort of a meh.
Yeah. So now Tyloo and Windigo will be fully bought out. This is one of those Master X-Curate's not going to op as much on the T side. He's definitely going to help out more with somebody getting control of Banana. Bentet kind of floats around, and Attacker going to be that main entry middle, while Summer being the apartments player. So definitely can play this map pretty standard, but also can be very fast-paced at times. And that's what we were talking about earlier. That can get you excited, is the explosive nature of Tyloo's play can be intriguing to watch.
It's a really cool smoke put down from Bentet. Putting a smoke down there forces the Molotov to get extinguished early. How does Poison flick to him? He looked like he was absolutely gone. Bentet's crosshair was in position. But yeah, that smoke being planted down actually stopped the Molotov from spreading. Ship's now going to go in. He gets blocked out as well from... Well, somebody gets blocked out from Ships, I should say, and the bomb's gone down. It's just a collapse around for Tyloo. It's gone horribly, horribly wrong.
It really has. Poison kicked it off with the AWP shot, and then Tyloo just could not regroup and follow it up. In fact, they kind of just strung players out there one by one. They did pretty easy on Windigo to defend. Were never really forced to pay 2 mines to the round. Good kill from Attacker on the A side. The problem is the bomb is still down, and now Poison's taken out Summer, so any threat of trying to pinch these Banana players is gone. First round will be on the board for the majority Bulgarian team. The Turkish Calyx helping out.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. Although Attacker gets a pretty crispy entry frag onto A, the bomb's down under their control. There's no reason for them to send a player across the other side of the map.
Yeah.
So it's all for naught.
It's one of those things where if Summer stayed alive, though, perhaps Attacker could go through CT spawn. They could try to pinch them out, but that possibility gone. Attacker is now going to save that AK. Still plenty of money to be able to drop a gun the way of somebody and keep this AK for himself, and still have a decent buy going in this next round.
Oh, absolutely, yep. With the saved gun, they're going to be able to drop a gun across to somebody. Everybody else will have AKs and SGs. They could even afford an AWP if Bentet wants to pick one up, decides against it. And Tyloo off to another very good round in terms of firepower alongside Windigo.
Yeah, and again, expect them just to be really fast-paced. If they're going to go for fast-paced banana control, they're going to try to attack top mid rather quickly. While they do play standard, they like to do it at an up-tempo. Also known for some of their heavy apartment explosion plays. We're not going to see that now. All we're going to see is them taking a ton of nade damage.
And again, Poison's going to get the kill into Bentet. Switches across to Excurate. They've been waiting for Poison to stamp his claim on a LAN environment. Is this the moment where he wakes up? In the dying embers for Windigo, when their backs are on the wall, when elimination faces them, flashbang to greet them. Poison gonna be tested once again. He will pass to flying colors. The bomb gets dropped. No 4K, peaks one too many times. And Summer does at least get 2. He doesn't have the bomb, though. He needs to go back and get that. That's giving valuable time for the rest of Windigo now to get into position. But he's going to hold it down. Oh, the timing is so brutal. But they're going to line up for him. He nearly gets a 2 for 1. There's a smoke down. If they want to push this, it's almost a certain death. Summer can go plant.
Yeah, and he's actually found a way to perhaps steal this round away. He's already gotten 2 kills, including a crazy one there on the flank. He'll plant the bomb and now have to defend against the 1 versus 2. Windigo do have kits and time. They're actually both rerouting the CT spawn, which is a good call because Summer's going to expect at least one of them to still be Banana. So this might be the wool that they have to pull over Summer's eyes to get back in, but they still have to be efficient. Summer could still pull this off.
He could still pull it off, but instead of having the SG automatic weapon, he's got an AWP, so if they double peek him, he's dead. He's not going to have enough time. The Molotoving both angles. Now he's been spotted. He felt like he had to go. He was compelled for that peek. I really think if he had the SG, it had a much better chance, but even to get in that position in the first place was so well played for Summer. A couple kills, a bomb plant, well done.
Yeah, considering the fact that Poison had just shut down the top Banana attack and ships had pitched in as well, it looked like it was all she wrote. As you noted, the fact that he got the bomb plant money is going to help. That alongside the loss bonus actually gives them the potential to get a buy together in this round. A timeout comes in, a tactical here for Tyloo to decide how they want to spend these funds. A couple of AKs already out, a SIG for Summer. Excret has enough money for AK armor as well. It's only somebody who won't necessarily be able to put too much into this. It's going to be a Mac 10 for him in the end.
Feed it, child. Victor, please upgrade to head armor. You've got over $2,000 left. Oh dear. It seems like a small thing, but if that Mac 10 gets onto him and lands the headshot, it could be the difference maker. These are little things that can stack up in Counter-Strike.
Yeah. It's a good eye from you, because that certainly could be a big factor. Banana being shut down. This nade damage is brutal from Windigo. It's happened time and time again, Vince.
It really has. The utility has been on point. And Tyloo having to shake off the cobwebs, the concussion that the explosives cause. Bomb's been dropped wrong side of Banana as far as Tyloo are concerned. So they can traipse over a 3rd and even a 4th player if they so choose, because they know where the bomb resides. There's going to be more smokes behind it onto the T steps. Summer's able to get 1, but he's traded out almost instantly. Attacker on the prowl, caught completely unawares from Calyx. And Windigo have gone 3 in a row.
Tyloo's starting to fizzle out here. Now the money's finally run dry after losing 3 in a row and having bought pretty deeply into that previous round off of the bomb plant money. Excurate and somebody, the 2 guys who normally are taking Banana control, with maybe some assistance at times from Vintet, both only have 1 kill apiece. That's the illustration of how well Windigo has dominated Banana since the guns have come out.
These 3 rounds have been off the back of the pistol. Now that Windigo is starting to stabilize, making Tyloo's endeavors that much more shaky. Summer, 61 health, no grenades to play with. It's looking pretty ominous, Dust, for this round.
It really is.
Easy pickings for Victor. He's going to get himself 2. Poor flashbang. Bubble. Goes for the peak. No one's home. Somebody's been spotted. And somebody will be fragged in a moment. You'd assume, no, he actually bests Calyx, who had an automatic weapon, and also dinks Victor. So nearly a hero play from somebody. But Windigo will take the lead for the first time.
And now with the adjustment from Tyloo, again, they really do favor using Excurate and somebody, and at times Bintet to get control of B, but they've been denied that so much by utility damage. The other big thing they like to do is just pressure top middle, using Attacker as kind of the lead in that. They also, again, do have some apartments explosion plays they can go for that they like to do with 3 or 4 players streaming out in the balcony. They have that explosive nature to them. We haven't seen that yet. They've been silenced.
Here come the peaks again. Can Poison strike gold? Yes, he can. And it's been Tet. This has happened 3 times now. Tyloo maybe stop aggressing so much on B and start to focus more on A. And a shot from Excurate jumping up on the barrels. Ships gets decapitated. I mean, it is a position that Poison's played a couple of times, so that pre-fire is not completely out of question, but the execution was pretty sick.
Yeah. That was nasty, dude.
Poison
response! Oh my goodness.
With 4, can he get a 5th? No, Victor takes it away from him, but still, he has been a powerhouse on Banana. Tyloo, surely, change your attention elsewhere.
I'm pretty sure Banana's closed, Vince. There's not a closed sign out there. Might need to be a lawsuit because the caution wet sign has not appeared, but they are slipping over there, Vince. They need, like you said, to maybe think elsewhere. Maybe try getting some mid-control with some apartments play. Do something different.
Yeah, you at least have to make Windigo respect the fact that you could be going A. Right now, they feel so comfortable just to perch up in Banana and swat away any oncoming T's. Like, it's really that simple. It's that basic. It's that telegraph. If they can switch it up and get a bit of success, not necessarily round wins, but just some kills to make Windigo sweat a little bit, that can then position them for more Banana hits in the future. But they have to put in the hard work to get the rewards. Look at Ships, though. He's just like, screw this noise. You don't want to go Banana? I'll take it for myself. I'll put a bullet in the back of Bentet's head. He's been joined by Calyx as well. Windigo are looking so slick on the CT side. They dealt with the early aggression from Tyloo after the pistol. Bombs now been dropped. Summer and somebody. With a Desert Eagle and a CZ are about to get flanked from Ships again. This is ruthless from the Bulgarians plus Calyx.
Dude, it's 6 rounds in a row from Windigo, and in 5 of these 6 rounds, they have only lost 1 player, or they've kept everyone alive. Only 1 round did it get close where they lost 3. So it's starting to be very reminiscent of what was kind of going on between Vitality and Lucid Dream on Nuke. Like, so many rounds where they're barely losing anyone. That means their money is fantastic. It means Tyloo's running out of steam. They've been bullied since the pistol round victory. Oh, that's a bad grenade. Oh. That's a fair amount of damage.
That is a pretty... I mean, it's kind of unfortunate because his teammate jumped just ahead of him, but...
Yep.
Bit of lack of concentration or communication. It happens to the best of players. But yeah, that is a pretty painful nade, actually. His bubble's down to 69. The damage that could have been inflicted to Tyloo, who were perching up on the T-steps, going to be mitigated entirely. Flash into peak in apps. Not going to yield anything, but at least they're trying something different.
Indeed. This is where Attacker comes into play. You know, he's the one that likes to jump Boiler and start opening up things at middle. Bentet will be in the mix, obviously. They're going to need Summer to be able to make a good timing play off balcony, help open up the apartments. That's his normal position. Definitely can be really good at exploding up lane in apartments. They haven't been able to do anything at Banana, as we've noted time and time again. So this could be the adjustment that finally gets them something. Finally, Calyx Company will get tested today.
Calyx gonna go uncontested after the first kill. As a result of the Molotov, gonna be one tossed in retaliation. Calyx gonna stand his ground to the bitter end, and he is connecting headshots left and right. A headshot fiend. The stand-in is going huge. He's gonna go in for 2 more. It's the ace for Calyx.
I don't even know what Tyloo can do anymore, Vince. I mean, they're just getting shut down. A lot of CT teams will just give up brackets, or, you know, that's what we call top middle in North America. They'll usually just kind of retreat moto and pit and sight and kind of let terrorists have that space and just defend the entryways into the bomb site itself. But Windigo choose to play forward. They choose to do the crossfire, and it nets Calyx an ace, and there was a lot of damage dealt from his teammates along the way. So the fact that Windigo keep challenging these initial choke points at top, Banana, and mid, and win 7 rounds in a row in those positions. Again, another round where they barely lose any players. Only 2 going down that round. None the round before that. 3 rounds where they only lost 1 player. They are dominating Tyloo across the board. I'm not sure what adjustment Tyloo can even do at this point other than just frag better. Another thing to point out is Windigo's counter utility has been so good. They dealt so much nade damage at Banana time and time again. In that round, the way they timed out their incendiaries and saw Tyloo at middle was beautiful. It really set up Calyx to get those kills.
Yeah, I think this has really been a microcosm of a much bigger issue for Tyloo that's constantly coming up. That, yes, they're a group of very individual skilled players. There's no doubting that. But their teamwork always seems so lackluster. Like, at times, they seem like they're doing 5 different things on each player. They're going to try and get into apps this time again, but look at the grenade damage, as we've highlighted, and poison this time. Now he's realizing they're not pushing Banana. Okay, I'll just go into apps instead. Nearly lands that flick, which would have been disgusting. But the player advantage falls the way of the CTs again, and Tyloo can do nothing about this.
I think that's a good thing to point out, is how dynamic Poison has been. He's been shutting down Banana all day long. Now he's over at A and gets the opening kill. Tyloo's like, how do we avoid this guy? Like, he's just everywhere.
This is why we've been touting him as the next big thing, potentially, from Bulgaria. Because the guy, when he's feeling it, he is an absolute master with the AWP. He does go off on games, but he does go quiet, eerily silent in others. So it's good to see him stepping up when it counts. Now the Molotovs and grenades are being planted down, it's an absolute bloodbath. One-sided again in favor of Windigo. Perfect nade timing. Summer sure is going to get one, but only 30 health to his name. Going to flash himself out, but he eats a flash. And, well, Windigo, no surprise, they pick up yet another round. 8 in a row now of Dust.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's worth pointing out the counter utility has been so on point. Again, it's another round where Windigo barely loses any resources or players in the process. And yeah, it's just Tyloo. They're trying something different. Again, they went for those apartment explosion executes I mentioned that they like to do, but they're just getting shut down by the counter utility. Again, it's that. It's the incendiaries. It's so well timed out. Tyloo telegraphing their plays a bit too much. And so Windigo just hold their nades and wait and then use them when it matters most. And now look at this. It's Calyx over at B with a couple of kills.
Jesus, that spray transfer was a thing of beauty from Calyx. 2 completely separate angles. Smacks them both in the head. Summer last player alive again, only for a few moments. 9 rounds in a row. We're just running out of things to say about this. He's so dominant.
Dude, there's only been 1 round in this 9-round winning streak where they've lost more than 2 players. Like, they are just destroying Tyloo. Here's the other thing to bring up, by the way. We brought this up at the beginning of the game, and it needs to be reinforced. Tyloo thought Inferno would be a punish pick, and when you look at the map stats, it probably should have been. Wendigo came into this game 2-7 offline on Inferno, their weakest map other than Nuke, which they ban, and they have a stand-in. But they are just destroying Tyloo on the CT side.
Now Nate's down into second mid. These reads, like, it's just some 600 IQ stuff that we're witnessing. Like, every call is correct. It's unbelievable. How tilted must Tyloo be? Like, bro, you go in second mid, we get double naded?
This is the hardest countering I've seen on CT side in a while, man. It's actually unreal how Windigo are using their utility.
It has been genuinely so impressive to me how well Windigo have used their nades. Almost as a 6th player, just to stall and stymie these pushes, chip them down to low HP to finish them off later on. Molly being planted in mid, do get smoked out from Bubble's perspective, but now it's Victor's turn to step into the sun and bask in the glory of another potential round. Calyx continuing to apply the pressure. Too much to handle for Tyloo. They're looking to break the deadlock, to lift the curse, but the bomb's been dropped. Calyx only has 4 bullets remaining. Bentek goes for the peek. On the cross will be the org from Ships. He doesn't see Summer. Once again, Summer's the last player in. Once again, he's the last player standing. And this time, maybe it's going to be for the good of Tyloo, but no. Poison, right place, right time, delivers.
Man, that was finally a round. They took down more than 2 players, came down to a 1v1, but still Windigo is victorious. Also, by the way, we've been touting how amazing Poison's been this game, and he has been. But guess what? He's only got 16 kills. Calyx has 17, so he's actually outperforming Poison as much as we're boosting Poison up, as he deserves.
Yeah, Poison's had a lot of impact frags, but Calyx has just been really solid. What's happening here? Bentek nearly didn't see Calyx. In the corner of his eye, Ships and Poison again. Impenetrable defense on B. Victor's going to join them. 1 by 1, Tyloo walk out into a conga line of death. This time, at least, Attacker is going to take 2. Open up the site, go for the plant bubble. Not even going to bother attempting this until his teammate's in position. That's going to be Poison. He's coming up Banana Attacker. If he takes the fight to Poison, if he lives up to his name, maybe he can catch him unawares. Maybe he can turn this into a one-on-one. He also has an incendiary and, of course, knows exactly where the bomb is planted. All this utility is in the hands of Poison. If he goes down, there's no way to extinguish that molly. There it is. There's the first kill. He's not entirely sure where this second player is. Now Bubble's showing his hand. He's making a bunch of noise. Where is that incendiary? When is it coming down? Attacker's just going to peek instead. He doesn't need the flames. He's got bullets and a 4K.
After 10 unanswered rounds, Tyloo are finally back on the board. You feel like it comes a little bit too late, though. They need to get this last round as well just to have some fight in them. And then the pistol second half is just kind of a necessity. We'll see, though. Does that give them the spark they need to start coming alive in this game? Because so far, no one's really shown up other than Attacker. Even Vincent, the normal star for this team, has been awfully quiet. I'm not sure if Vince's mic is cut out or something like that, but we do have Tyloo actually racking up the kills on this one as well. All 5 alive until Ships has finally put one down. Ships trying to continue the challenge, picks up the op, gets a no-scope up close on Attacker. That was a nice one, but Vincent luckily there the trade, but the problem is that another Windigo challenger has emerged. It's Bubble up close now with the AUG. He's evened it back up into a 2 versus 2.
He sure has. Apologies when Mike decided to just stop working. It was weird. Either way, 2v2 Tyloo, one of their best chances. They get another round on the board. Get 2 in a row. 10-5 wouldn't be the end of the world. They're both going to shimmy together through arches, but Bubble is already here. He's read this play to perfection. Nearly ripped the spray, but does get it. Information gathered now. Summer has no idea where Calyx is, but seeing as he's typically been the A player, it stands to reason B would be open, so he's going to run straight towards the site.
Luckily, Calyx has run down middle pretty fast, so he'll get this banana flank off rather quickly after this bomb's been planted. But the problem is Summer still has so much time now to get into a position that Calyx will never know where he is.
Alex has just picked up a smoke as well, so could make this interesting if he guesses correctly and puts the smoke and blockades one of these angles. He's going to throw it onto the site, maybe try and tickle that bomb, see if he can force him out into the open, and Summer peeks way too early. I think he was worried because he had the AWP, he didn't have the automatic ability to just spray through the smoke, so he was worried. But whichever way you spin it, it's 11-4 Dust.
Absolute dominance. Outside of the pistol round victory, you feel like that could have almost been a perfect half for Windigo. So dominant, so many rounds where they lost 2 players at most. It was just an absolute brick wall across the map from Windigo. But we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll bring you the second half of map 1 here. Stay tuned.
Tyloo looking to pick up the slack from that very poor showing on the T side. When it came to rifles, they were second best over and over and over again. But Windigo have a point to prove. Poison on fine form and a standing of Calyx have been performing so very well. I'm Vince, joined by Dust. I'm going to be getting into the second half very shortly. Dust, what a performance row from Windigo. That was absolutely sublime.
Yeah, again, it was very reminiscent of what we saw from Vitality on Nuke against Lucid Dream moments ago. Same level of dominance. Will it continue on? This is where Tyloo needs to dig deep. This is supposed to be their punish pick, and it's not working out. It's backfired. Somebody who really struggled to attack Banana must defend it. He's normally playing there with Ben Tet, so those two need to be able to handle that Banana control management. Extra needs to get alive with AWP as well. He's had a quiet game. This is where he needs to have impact on the CT side.
It's a ballsy call as well. They're actually putting 4 players on A in the pistol round. Often you will see fast, straight up B hits. So Tyloo have rolled the dice. They've taken the gamble, and so far it's paying off. Can they hold their nerve, though? It's leaving Ben Tet in an aggressive position. All he's doing right now is scouting. If he sees a pixel, he'll pull back, call it to the rest of his team. But for the time being, Tyloo are fine to just sit in here with a 4-player stack. This is looking so incredibly rough. Can they get some headshots? Can they start to turn this around? It's a bomb that goes in first. Calyx drops it out. How many times have we seen this today? That is so rough. Not the bomb. It doesn't give you any position to turn back and run. There is no plan B. Summer, 3 kills in quick succession, and Tyloo get the second pistol round.
Yeah, I mean, you are rather unlucky that you've run to the 4-man stack at A. Definitely don't expect it to happen in the pistol round, but as you noted, when you send the bomb first, you've pretty much sealed your fate. You either have to win out the war at top mid or the round's over, and it became the latter for Windigo. So that's that breath of life that Tyloo needed, you feel like, to try to grind their way back into this game. They've been able to buy up substantially off the back of that. A force buy from Windigo, though. What can they do with these Eagles? That 1 Tech 9. Shit's finding a gap between the fire.
Somebody, you got to be very careful. The Desert Eagle, if he gets you jumping off, is almost inviting the headshot. He has to use a different angle, and it completely catches Windigo off guard for the first frag, but the second one is coming in. And look at Poison's position already. He's at CT spawn. He can actually stop these rotations dead in their tracks. If attacker doesn't check this, he's a dead man. He's gone down. That'll be an AUG trading hands. He was carrying one, I believe, but the UMP is going to stay in the hands of Ships for the time being, or Poison, pardon me. Unless teammates on coffins, he's still looking towards CT spawn. Grenade prime gonna be tossed in towards the site. Doesn't connect on Summer. That's some information gathered, but while his attention is distracted elsewhere, Ships will take that opportunity to strike, and Tyloo cut down to size again.
There's not many things that are worse than getting absolutely dominated for an entire half, but if there is one, it would be getting ecoed, Vince.
Oh, it fills you with dread, doesn't it? For Tyloo, like they got the second pistol, they got both pistols, and they have 5 rounds.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's just like, Hank. Yep.
Probably how Tyloo feeling right now, just like, yep, we're getting wrecked. Attacker with a nade out onto Apps, not really gonna do a great deal of damage. I think Ships just caught that. 25 health, just about. Maybe a lapse in communication because they tossed a Molotov into the App side where Victor was trying to move down. Extra gonna block that smoke, so it does give him a little bit more wiggle room around the corner. You're not anticipating that, but Calyx still has his crosshair trained on the angle. Better safe than sorry. He's got his helmet on and ricochets the bullets off it. Attacker on the balcony. I thought that Molotov may be landing on the balcony, but it's actually Pit, so he's gonna be okay.
Yeah. Still, though, so many Windigo members here loaded up at middle with the firepower advantage and a man advantage to go off of that. Another smoke comes in. Somebody might try to push through it, but they're aware of it. They're looking for it.
Yeah, they know a smoke push is one of the only ways that Tyloo can get back into this round and catch them off guard. So be prepared for anything. Poison does take a headshot. Nice attempt by somebody. Summer still on the site, waiting, biding his time to strike. Calyx is having none of it with Victor. They do hemorrhage a couple of players, but they still romp to a 13-5 lead.
And the wind, or whatever was left of it in the sails of Tyloo, is starting to dissipate once again. That did not work out. Now they have to basically full save, give Windigo 14 for free, and then they have to try to put their last stand when it comes to the map point situation. This map's been a tough pill to swallow for Tyloo so far. Can they somehow fight their way back? I'm kind of dumbfounded, Vince. I'm not really sure what to say.
That's just been brutal. There is a stack of players around the corner. Extra's going to land a headshot. Also, Dinkin Poison down to 11. At this point, just pull the plug. Just run back towards A site with the bomb. See if you can finish off the stragglers. The gamble has paid off for 1 kill, but no more. But yeah, I mean, Tyloo have just been comprehensively outplayed. There's really not much else that you can elaborate on. Like, in every single metric, they have been bested by Windigo.
It's a color caster's nightmare, Vince. Like, there's just nothing here. There's nothing there for Tyloo either, other than 2 pistol round victories and just a couple of others sprinkled around the game.
It's like, quite sad.
This might as well be as down as the 16-0, just the way the rounds have played out.
Yeah.
Here's the last crack effort, Vince. Here's all the money coming in. It's still not the best of 5s, though. FAMAS and UMP included in it. Not that much utility. 1 kit.
Well, if they're gonna climb up this very steep mountain, it has to start with the first couple of steps, and that is right here, right now. Everything stacked against them. Calyx has plenty of shrapnel. Dug into him. Peeks out. Even trade. Calyx will be fine with that. He was already wounded anyway. At least Bentet alone is going to draw out extra to help him out. Bomb still towards spawn, though. Somebody has to get that for Windigo.
Yeah, it looks like we'd already see Victor fading back off of apartments, and so is Bubble towards T-Stairs. So they'll go ahead and grab that bomb up together, and they will look to load up, maybe perhaps still Banana. They definitely have the smokes for CT spawn and coffins, and the Molotovs you'd want to use for oranges and maybe new box, or save it for the retake. Either way, Windigo is not a team that really dilly-dallies around. Once they decide on something, they are quick to explode on it. And here comes the take.
Timing on this flashbang could be everything. It's flashed up one, but again, it's an even trade. That's not good enough for Tyloo with their weaponry, their lower finances. They need to get these rounds cleanly. Ben-Tet, next up, hasn't had too much going his way in this game, but does come big with 2 massive frags. That's what they need, but they still lose 3 players. That's still going to hurt them.
Oh, that's absolutely going to cause them to reach into their wallets a little bit harder than they wanted to. They wanted a clean victory there because long-term, they need that money. I think Ben-Tet was just a bit fortunate. I feel like one of those Molotovs just missed on oranges. It wasn't quite burning him out of position. He still got to hold the corner. Victor was still wary of it, but they were hoping that it would flush him into a little bit more awkward space, but he got to just hold an angle and line up a couple of big kills, and that's exactly what you need from Ben-Tet. He is supposed to be the star of this team. You need him to come alive if a comeback's ever going to be possible. Good banana control this round from Tyloo. I will add, somebody pushed pretty deep, denying this space to Windigo.
That is a position that has a sell-by date, though. If Molotovs and flashes start to rain in banana, things are going to get sketchy. It is just a UMP alongside Ben-Tet's UMP. So actually 2 of their weakest weapons are over on banana. If they had like an AUG at top of banana, that would actually be a pretty nice crossfire established, but Bubble's going to try and get them out of position. He's trying to bait as if he's going to go through on the CT side. That has been successful. This is where the UMP could shine. Running out of bullets though, running out of ammunition, switches to the AK-47, and no one's there to counteract him. Somebody's done a phenomenal job. Bob's also down. He may have single-handedly just won this round for Tyloo.
Yeah, big commitment through the smoke did not pay off, and Summer's kind of mopping up the remnants of Windigo in this round. It's just Calyx left with the SIG. Does find a nice little headshot there on the Summer, but still so much work left to do. That's another step in the right direction. Don't tell me Calyx is really going to do this. He'd have to ace, but he's already gotten 3. Just not enough health to keep battling on, but certainly a valiant effort. And Tyloo, they've strung together a few in a row now.
That would have been absolutely nuts. Again, though, similar to what we said before, Calyx just getting those couple kills towards the end keeps Tyloo's finances low again. So, sure, they don't win the round, but they're still doing damage.
Yeah, when that 1 loss bonus comes in, when they finally do lose a round, because of that, they will have nothing to work with when Windigo goes for the win. This is where they should be able to finally get past that, though. There's not much there for Windigo. This should be a comfortable round victory to help build that reserve cash.
You'd really hope so. If they lose out on this, then something's gone horribly wrong. Somebody gets himself fragged. If Ben-Tet dies, that's going to open up B. Summer realizes it. He's going to be shimmying across. They do have control of an AUG, and Ships does have armor, so they need to drop it to him. They've done that. Some low players in banana. Calyx on 3. This is effectively going to be a 2-on-4, but the lack of armor and utility, it should be shooting fish in a barrel. Bubble round the corner with a deagle. Now has to contend with Ben-Tet. Beautiful flashbang. Deserves the kill off that, and spraying through the smoke gets the second. Again, though, 2 kills, even in a low buy round.
Yeah, a little bit of rebuying again coming in for Tyloo. This time it's not as severe, though. But certainly the consequences are that somebody in Ben-Tet and now Attacker with that utility build-up, again, 1 round loss bonus will come in the moment that they lose. And that's where they will be absolutely busted. Windigo do have the poison AWP to play with now.
Taking a tick of Molotov damage in exchange for a grenade that lands on Ben-Tet. Worthwhile trade, of course, the way of Calyx knowing that. Tyloo have been playing pretty aggressively in the banana to take control. Again, Windigo are stacking B, and I wonder if they'll run into the same trap that Tyloo did. They're getting a bit telegraphed, getting a bit too obvious. Flash into peak, not going to yield a kill, but does get them some real estate, does get them a bit of map control now.
Yeah, Victor playing a really weird spot, just like hiding T-side apartments, just hoping to catch a rotation. But like you said, all the eggs are basically in the basket of attacking this B bomb site. Good utility is starting to come in. Somebody not giving them the entry just yet. Now Victor starts to trickle into the A apartments. Is this like some kind of weird double fake? I'm not really sure.
I'll have to wait and see. They're still nading on CT sides. They're still keeping 3 players of Tyloo over here. Excret is just waiting with a flashbang. Once the call comes in, he'll toss that. He's now starting to rotate onto Speedway. This is more of a sweeper role angle where they can rotate and pivot to each side depending on what's called. This has opened up a little bit of leeway on Archers, which is now being covered by Excurate's Orc. 25 seconds, they can no longer go back towards B. They've put their cards on the table, they've gone all in on the A site, the head protruding over the corner. Summer's going to take 2 heads off. Ships now going to be all that remains in a 1-on-4. He's already got 1 frag, make it 2, but he's down to 28 HP with 8 seconds to go. He's picked up another one. He's going to have time to plant this bomb. He's only going to have 4 HP to play with. This would be a ridiculous clutch if he pulled it off. Surely this isn't possible. We know this guy has crazy amounts of talent, but it's not going to be enough to get him across the finish line in round 23. Tyloo with another successful retake.
So I think it stalled out for too long. They allowed that rotation to come back. They did well pressuring B, causing a 3rd player to drift that direction to open up A a little bit. But then by the time they actually attacked, Excurate was already back. So didn't make the most of that, you feel like. But again, they have continued to whittle away at Tyloo's economy. So they've really not allowed Tyloo to build any bonus cash. And that really could help them once they finally do get to 15. But they need to get there. They've now lost 4 in a row. They're starting to run out of steam.
That's when they'll start to twitch a little bit, but Calyx and Ship's going to put an end to that. Eviscerating the B defense. In a heartbeat, 2 players drop.
Save. You got to.
Yeah, absolutely. With their economy, $100 on somebody. This has to be a save, guys. There's no way you're clutching this. And they agree. They're already piecing up. They've got an AWP, they've got an AUG. This isn't unwinnable in the next round if they can hold on to these 2 weapons. But make no mistake, Windigo, they're going to have 6 map points and are so well positioned to take this map off Tyloo.
Yeah, and again, they're coming into this next round where they're going to have so much to work with. I feel like the most money that they're going to have for Tyloo is going to be Attacker, who will have 2,950. So he'd be able to drop 1 gun since he has an AUG for himself, which will probably go to somebody because he has the lowest amount of cash. Bintet can buy. Summer would be the one that's really lacking.
Here we have it, Dust. It's do or die for Tyloo. Their choice of map. Up next would be Mirage. Or is it Overpass? It's been a long day. I know it's Mirage or Overpass. It is Overpass, okay. And Windigo, pretty damn strong on Overpass. This is a map where Poison can really take over things, but can they get there first? Can Tyloo maybe bounce this back? They've, with save weapons, got 2 FAMASs and an AUG alongside it, plenty of nades, and they do have a kit. Maybe not over just yet.
Taking their time here. They're putting some smokes down at middle to block off either side of mid to allow one to come up, but Excurate is going to be able to still peek the corner of Archside and take down Bubble, who is going for kind of an individual play.
Why?
I don't know.
Is it a fake?
I guess.
That's
such a really weak one.
Yeah, that's like the weakest fake you can possibly do, but Victor doesn't care. He runs straight through the smoke, and Bintet burning alive. I think he may have been flashbanged alongside it, so didn't know if he was safe or not. That's one way to take the round and make it yours after a very odd Bubble play. Tyloo now, one of the roughest retakes in Counter-Strike on the B side, 3v4. They don't have any Molotovs, they don't have any HEs, but they do have flashes. So if they could position these correctly and blind out the terrorists, there are ways back in this. Someone's juggling for masses, does land a headshot. But now Victor can pounce, and there we have it. It's a clean sweep at the end, and Windigo win Tyloo's choice of map, 16-9.
The punish pick has backfired, Vince. Tyloo lose it. It was a map Windigo don't have the best record on, but they still mustered up what they needed to win it here. And now they go on to Overpass next, Vince. A map they have only lost a single time out of 9 games on land. That was to Mouse Sports at Tours. They have beaten very good teams on the map like Navi, like Fnatic. So they come into Overpass looking like a favorite. And now that Tyloo's pick has fallen off, the Gambit's not been there, they are in some real trouble. But before we can get to that, Vince, we do have to take a quick break. Thanks again so much for everyone for tuning in. Definitely stay tuned because we have at least one more map to go here on the secondary stream here between Tyloo and Windigo. So we'll be right back.